Hey guys, welcome to Muscle Memory. My name's Malcolm. I got a very special guest. Guys, he's making his return after 10 long years into the wrestling ring. This here is what you call domination. It's a combination of skill and concentration. Rycklon Stephens, how are you? Ezekiel Jackson.
I'm good, man. I'm good. That's
Yo,
too excited, man. I feel like it's morning for me.
of course, fair enough, man. But like, you got a big return coming up, man. Like FWE March 15th, Saturday, FWE Full Throttle in Cary, North Carolina.
Yeah, yeah.
Why now? Why after 10 years? Why now?
Man, so I think we talked last time. That it always sits on my shoulder that, man, did I finish this correctly? You know what I mean? How my quote unquote retirement went last time was I was at WXW in Germany,
Yeah.
and somewhere it got lost in translation. Whereas like I told the guys, I was like, man, if this was my last match, that'd been a great thing. And all they heard was last match, great thing. And by the time I got in the car to drive from wherever in Germany to Frankfurt,
Yeah.
so my Twitter had blown up. Ezekiel Jackson announced his retirement. And I was like, I called the dude. I was like, dude, I did not announce my retirement. Well, one of the guys heard something, and my social media guy just ran with it. I'm like, that's not cool.
Huh.
And literally, though, I got home. My wife and I, we decided we were going to move from LA to the Bay Area. And I kind of just, that's when I ended my contract with Lucha Underground and
Yeah.
moved to the Bay and started my personal training business. And, settled in on family, raising the kids, and being a husband. And it's been amazing. Everything has been great. So right now is, I'm probably trying to get it done before I'm 50.
You're 46
So
right now, correct?
46, yeah, I'll be
46.
47 in shit, a couple of months. And so I think I'm good now. I got in the ring a couple of months ago and I felt really good.
Okay.
Um, I didn't die the next day
There you
after
go.
after
That's all you
I
need.
was sore, but I didn't die. So I was like,
Yeah.
maybe it'll be a time to give it a shot and see what happens. And that's where we are right now, just trying to see what happens.
Certainly, certainly. And who you been training with, like as far as like getting ready for this return?
I go to a school. Chemo out here allows me to come down to his school, and it's a bunch of new kids, um, which is harder because it's like you're trying to get somebody to do something, but they're first of all they're nervous being in there with you because you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But you're so in my head, I'm so I can't teach and go at the same time, so it's kind of a little bit harder.
Hmm.
But I think I might be getting in there tonight with a couple of people that should be able to go. So we'll
Okay.
see how it feels.
Absolutely, man. It's gonna be a title match too, apparently, from what I saw. Big triple
Yeah.
threat match for the FWE Heavyweight Championship. I mean, you have a lot of experience being a heavyweight champion for last
Yeah.
ECW champion in history. I mean, like, do you expect to come out with the win?
I go in any given Sunday, anybody can win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's my approach. I'm coming for a fight. When it was told to Sylvan and I think Father, that's the cat's name, I'm like, oh, we'll see.
Some good guys.
But I'm coming for a fight, man. That's everything I do is about a big fight. Like nothing fancy, nothing cutesy,
Yeah.
just a fight.
I love it. I
Try to
love it.
rip somebody's head off or break your back, one of the two, whichever one happens, happens.
You're still like the same like Ezekiel Jackson size that I remember when I was watching you in like 2010. Like you haven't changed much, man. Like what's the training like in the gym at 46 compared to maybe like, you got the little gray going on, but we get away color that in. You know what I mean? You look the
Yeah,
same.
yeah,
Well, what's the
yeah.
training look like at 46
Training
compared to back then?
back then, I was sadly I didn't stretch as much. Um, so I was going to the gym, typical chest day, 135, 225, 315 warm up, and then we go. You know what I mean? These days,
Warm
that
up.
130, that 135 stays on the bar for about 3 to 4 rounds of feelers, instead of 2 reps or 5 reps or 8 reps. And I'm like, okay, maybe I could do 185. And
Yeah.
I stop at about, when I'm in a good mood, I'll go to the Smith machine and go 375. But if I'm not, I'll stay 255, 275 and wrap them out. But
A
that's,
lot.
the difference now is I warm up more, I stretch more. Um, Again, adding the cardio to this aspect now
Yeah.
is, and I've been doing the rowing machine, and that mother kicks you like it kicks hard. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that or which one is worse, that or the assault bike, but they both abuse you.
Probably the row machine. That one really be getting people sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. When
So,
you announced like you were coming back to wrestling, did you hear from any like your old WWE colleagues as far as like, oh, it's good to see you come back to the business?
it's again this business is, I have friends that we're always talking.
Yeah.
Um, so they were WWE's here about a month and a half ago, so I got a chance to go backstage. Took my son backstage, and last time he's been backstage, he was like 8 years old. So him walking backstage now, he's 6'3", 290 almost. So it's like, what's this tag team walking back here? And people are like, RJ, because they remember,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And so it was one of those things where I'm in touch with the guys that, I see um, stuff on TV and I shoot a text like, hey, that was amazing. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I texted Drew. I found out that I'm 1% Scottish. So I told him I need a kilt. So he didn't bring it, but so it's that kind of relationships where it's
Yeah.
more of a, hey, what's up? Hey, this was cool. Nice seeing it. You know what I mean? So it's not, because everybody's got their life now. You know what I mean? I'm not deeply involved where we see each other every week.
That's
So if
fair.
I see him once or twice a year and touch base ever so often, that's basically what you get.
Certainly, certainly. And like hearing that you went backstage, brought your son and whatnot backstage for WWE, is the itch there to try to make it back to the WWE? Is that the goal with this?
Man, I'm always open. You know what I mean? I love the life I have now. Um, the flexibility of, again, stuff that, within the last 10 years that meant a lot to me was being there for every birthday for my kids and my wife, and anniversary, and for my son's basketball. Then he switched to football games. My daughter is a theater person. I've been to every play 2 or 3 times. And, you know what I mean? So those are the things that was really important to me and still is. So again, being on the contract is different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As compared to deciding to take a couple of shows here and there. So that's, again, it's there, you know, if God willing, man, we'll see.
Okay, absolutely. Now I'm assuming this can't be the only match you're gonna do. So like, let's talk about that bucket list. I saw the YouTube video you were talking about. It has to be some names you're floating around
I,
possibly.
I'm not putting that out
Oh, why not?
there yet. Because, I speak to people like, when they're in town again, and they're like, it has to be right. You
Right.
know what I mean? For this one, the FWE is kind of like, it's nostalgic for me because my TV debut in 2008 was North Carolina, Charlotte. You know what I mean? So it was like this kind of like, we're starting this thing a little different, similar. You know what I mean? But I had a bodyguard this time. I'm coming straight for a championship. So
Yeah.
it kind of like, that made sense. The hard thing about doing what I'm doing now is that you get a lot of promoters reach out to you, and then you respond with your rate, and some of them just disappear.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
shameful.
So like, if you want, like, talk, be real, man. Don't disappear. Reach out, say, hey, man, that might be out of my budget. Can we put like a seminar together and bring you in? Can we put together a sign? Like, do stuff that,
Yeah, makes
because
sense.
I see it happening a lot to just again, the less established wrestlers, where they'll be like, oh, I got left on red. Or, because I had a school and see these guys were trying to reach out to promoters and they would just not respond. I'm like, dude, you're human. Like, don't treat people like crap. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't afford it, that's fine. Hey, man, I can't do this time. Maybe we could figure something else out. Something, maybe I don't have to come in for a match. Maybe we do, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
use your words,
Yeah,
promoters.
don't just leave people
Words, you know
on.
what I mean? Don't
Yeah.
don't leave people on red. Just use your words, man. But
Could
that's
I?
the
No, sorry, go
yeah.
ahead. No,
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 but
go ahead, finish
that's
up.
the difference now with, and one of the reasons I kind of eased back when I back in 2014. You know what I mean? It's like promoters will reach out and you know, the worst thing I've was ever told was some dude was like, "Oh, you just like in responding," and I said my race. Like all I remember was you were some boring guy on TV. I'm like, why would you have to say that? Just I mean, like,
Unneeded. Unneeded.
you know, you
Yeah.
don't want me. That's cool. Like I'm not coming to do a flip for anybody. That's
Yeah.
I did that when I was younger and more athletic. I jumped to the top ropes. I did the drop kicks. I did the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to run through you. I'm going to beat you up and we're going to have fun. I'm going to have fun doing it. It's up to you if you enjoy it or not. You know what I mean?
Could I like pitch a match to you that I personally would like to see for your return? I feel like this would be amazing, right? So there's this guy on the Indies who talks about how he used to be part of the ECW brand. And, you being the last ever ECW champion, I feel like this would be a match made in heaven. I'm thinking Big Rick versus Matt Cardona. What's
Dude,
your thoughts on that? I feel like that's a match
first
that
of
needs to
all, I love this. Like, I love what he did. You know what I mean? He recreated himself. First of all, he created himself for the WWE. You know what I mean? Myers, then the Zack Ryder. Then I remember him going around backstage saying woo woo woo, and I said, you know it. He's like, Zeke knew it. Like I'm like, dude, it's Mark. Like you know what I mean? So I see, if I'm on TikTok and Instagram and see what he's doing, I'm like, let's see what happens, man. Like
You gotta see it. I'm just saying, ECW
it will
got
be it will be a bit different this time because the
certainly.
dude like he's doing amazing work. Super proud of what he's done. But again, he I don't know if he wants to run into Big Ray. You know what I mean? He
Oh,
remembers.
oh, you're saying you would beat him up?
I'm sure I'm
That.
sure I'm sure that's in the back of his mind.
Absolutely. As the last ever ECW champion, in your opinion, what's the Mount Rushmore of ECW champions?
Wow,
It's a lot.
man, you should have warned me with that one. That
I
should have
should have.
been this
It could just
question.
be you four different times.
um, so the flag we get being the WWE ECW is that we were tamed down. We didn't have the violence that ECW was, but people forget that WWE is a family friendly show.
Mhm.
ECW was not. The original ECW was not. So you know what I mean. I would go to I guess Cross Branded. You got have to have RVD up there. Um, man, talk about violence.
Why?
It's a lot. You have to give me a chance to think on that. So I'll come
Yeah.
back to that next
All
time.
right, well, we'll come back to it next time for sure. Now, there's a lot of things we talk about here in your whole entire career and whatnot, but you spent a lot of time on the main roster in that 2010 period. And that same
Mhm.
time, John Cena was really like the face of the WWE. Did you ever
Yeah,
get any advice from a guy like John Cena who's now on his farewell tour?
who is now? So Cena made wrestling in the WWE super easy for me.
Yeah.
He came down to FCW at the time, and I think this is right after he had his neck surgery. He's about to debut in the Garden for the Royal Rumble, and he came in, and I was watching him work and got a chance. Then he took a break, and I grabbed him. I was like, "Man, can I pick your brain?" Straight up, and he's like, "What's up?" I was like, "Dude, how Steve Kern wants us to be violent. Dr. Tom wants us to be in shape. A couple of the other trainers at the time, I don't think it wasn't Norman or anybody else, it was some guys they had. They wanted when you called a match, you're supposed to say 15 different things before doing something. I'm like, dude, I would bite my tongue off trying to say half of these things. He's like, you want to go in the ring? I was like, yeah. You know what I mean? And we got in the ring, man, and basically he called his comeback for me
Hmm.
in the spot, like, and how he would do it, one thing at a time. And that completely just opened up my mind to this thing. It's like, you mean I don't have to remember 15 things? You know what I mean? Because I was never the guy that worked on an indie match. People think, oh, I was on the indie for a short period of time. I trained for 7 years before I got signed to the WWE. However, I didn't do a bunch of matches out there because I saw what it was. I did a couple of things where I got the 24, $25.
Yeah.
um, driving from Harlem to Poughkeepsie and getting $25 with my car with the gas was probably $50 at the time. You know what I mean? So that kind of stuff I saw, and I was like, man, I want to pursue this. And that's where my family ended up moving to LA. Then I got that chance with UPW, which led to Rick Bassman getting me a connection with the WWE. But I didn't do a bunch of matches where I had to call 15 different things. It just never worked for me. And so when I got a chance to work with Cena, like he just completely, for me, and made it simpler. And then I got a chance with Kendrick coming in and saying, add this. And then William Regal's like, dude, if you do this, and, you know what I mean? Edge. So a lot of people just like helped tweak a little bit.
Yeah.
You want to take all the advice, but you can't use them all. Yeah. So it's good to be respectful to receive, but with Cena saying that, and I think we had a visit from Bret Hitman Hart within around the same time, and he just another thing he said was, I'm not trying to take it from Cena's, impact,
yeah, of course.
But the stuff that I took from them two down there was Bret was like, know what you're gonna do, and know what you'll have done to you, and that not every simple things like that, like no, you can't suplex me. Like, why would you want to do that? You're 130 pounds. Yeah.
For sure.
So stuff like that, learning how to protect myself, protect my brand, and knowing how to put together matches. That, like, again, Cena definitely made that easier.
Certainly. To circle back a little bit to the ECW questions that we were asking before, did you feel like that WWE ECW could have lasted a little bit longer before it ended? Because obviously, yeah, you won the championship, but that lasted for maybe like an hour max.
90 seconds, maybe.
90 seconds. So it's like, did you like walk through the curtain and they just took the title from you?
You could be pessimistic and say 90 seconds, or optimistic and it's been 12 years or something like that. So I'm still holding the championship. I'm actually looking at it.
There you go.
I didn't. Again, they wanted to do the NXT thing. Again, this business is all about cycling, trying new things, trying what wasn't working. I remember ECW at one point used to do its own tours, and then you found out that the houses were responding. You know what I mean? So the E is all about business, man. Like the bottom line is make sure the company's making money. Right. And NXT at the point when they came in and they did the branched out and did the Nexus, and you know what I mean? So they built from that. So again, selfishly, I would have loved to defend the title, to be, recognized as, and but after that, I came through the curtain, whatever. The next week, I was on SmackDown. They announced they did the Titantron. I was like, check out the Titantron. Like, Ezekiel Jackson's coming to SmackDown. Yeah. Sadly, my dad died within the next couple of weeks of that, which, threw that for a loop. And then after I buried my dad on April 3rd. On April 10th, I would have been celebrating my sister's 40th birthday, who had died 5 years earlier. But then I blew my right quad out that same day. So it was like,
so unfortunate.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I would have loved to defend it. I would love to be, again, sometimes I think in the not the Hall of Fame, like when they do the tours now, they still have the name and things. So it's cool to have, man.
Absolutely, man. And like, talking about like one of your more popular moves, the torture rack. Mm-hmm. In your opinion, who do you feel like has the best like torture rack in pro wrestling?
Currently or in overall?
Overall.
Luger.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like Luger. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when I watched WCW as a kid, like again, overall wrestling, my guys were the body guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Big muscular guys. And I just remember watching him do that and seeing the abs and the traps and everything. I'm like, so that, that's always been, he's definitely on top when it comes to that.
Do you feel like Lex Luger is like one of your favorite wrestlers, like, all time?
All time, like, again, just for me at the time when I didn't know wrestling.
Yeah.
As a fan, yes. Just, again, I was enthralled with muscles. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That started with the Hercules movies with Arnold. You know what I mean? So it's always been a muscular thing for me. And I think the first time I watched wrestling, I saw like what would you call a promo package of the Ultimate Warrior,
Yeah.
and I was like, holy crap, you know what I mean? So that's always been a connection for me to wrestling, big dudes with muscles, you know. So and I
Definitely.
became one
Definitely.
of
Definitely.
them.
Few more questions for you. How long do you think this run will go for you, as far as like this new run on the independent scene?
um, Again, the best part about it is that I'm not committed to any one entity.
Yeah.
Um, so I can pick and choose what I do. That first conversation with a promotion is going to see, are you really serious about bringing me in? So don't just reach out just because you want to know my rate. If you just want to know my rate, just ask. I'll tell you. You know what I mean? But that's going to let you know that I'm serious about this, because the difference with me and, say, another person that just left the WWE, I'm a specimen that people that you don't see on a daily basis. I don't care. You know what I mean? Maybe Brock, maybe Bobby. You know what I mean? A big, strong dude, Mark. But there's not many former wrestlers walking around 310 pounds of muscles and abs.
Yeah.
So that's a specimen that your fan base gets to witness. Um, I come in the ring. No, it's not going to be fancy, but I'm going to, I tell people when I was in Lucha Underground, the dudes would get, this is awesome from doing all the amazing stuff. I get that same chant from clotheslining somebody. You know
True.
what I mean?
True. That's fair.
I'll get that same chant from holding somebody and hitting them over the back.
Yeah. Oh, that
Exactly.
sounded like that hurt.
Exactly. So the difference is not what I do in the ring, but it's like I'm not going to do a bunch of crap, but what I do makes sense for me.
Definitely.
That's how I
Absolutely.
do my character.
Three more questions for you. When you body slam the Big Show,
Hmm.
what went through your mind knowing that you're picking up a guy that is that massive?
Um, Dude, like again, nostalgic wrestling guy here, and
Yeah.
it's like this is Hogan, Andre again
Yeah.
in my head. You know what I mean? Um, and when he turned, like, and I got him up, and I was like, I think I popped him higher than, in my head. I'm like, I'm not just slamming him. I'm like, because, a competitive nature of me is like, I think Hogan just turned him over. I'm like, I'm going to hold this mother up
Yeah.
here for a bit. And, but again, we also know show is show. That dude freaking busted his ass to make me look good. So, but that is a big human being. Man, in my career, I body slammed the Big Show, I suplexed the Big Show, and I've torture racked the Great Khali. So I'm like, I, I got some, giants, some stuff that Again, sometimes I don't think about what I've done in my career. I just sit just going through life, and then sit back once in a while, and that's what kind of clicked in the past couple of months. It's like, dude, I've done some stuff. You know what I mean? If you sit down and look at for me, I sat down and looked at my time in WWE. Like, I became a world champion after being there for a little over a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? 2008 to February of 2010, I'm a champ. You know what I mean?
Yes, of course.
Sadly, I got hurt, came back within 6 to 7 months. I'm Intercontinental champion.
Mm-hmm.
So they saw something. I delivered. Did I make mistakes? I'm sure I did. Did I not
Life.
did I not grasp more? Just the one thing for me is like I'm not in any way or form going to try to step on somebody to get over. And that's just I like looking at myself in the mirror and saying, everything that I got, I earned. You know what I mean? There's nobody behind me that said, damn, Zeke did this or Rick did this, or no, there's none of that.
Well, that's good. I mean, like, I think being a good person is always better,
In the long run, you gotta make the kind of money you could, but
give and take. Give and take. That's like Now, I know you said earlier that being under contract would be a little different for you as far as like what you do with your life currently. But if you had the opportunity to appear as far as like maybe a match or a cameo for WWE or an AEW TNA, would that
Yeah.
offer intrigue you?
Yes. Come on, man. Like you want to be in the biggest platform. Like this is not. I was watching again Matt talk about his wife being U.S. champ right now, and he's like, "Yeah, I would love to be back there." It doesn't mean that I'm jealous of her, but why wouldn't you embrace what your wife is doing and want because you still want to be on the highest level. And right now, WWE is highest level. AEW has come in and created a mark that's different. TNA's whole like fighting, like the kid at the bottom, like is always fighting, like he's not giving up for you know what I mean? So there are three big companies that got TV contracts. And so again, I'm here, man. Like my phone's the same. Email's the same. So if it happens, it happens. And I'll be welcoming to to whatever opportunities come out.
What I'm hearing is Triple H, call his phone. Tony Khan, call his phone. TNA, call the phone. Email him. I want to see it happen personally. But as we get to this last question, you're a 310-pound dude. Straight muscle, though. But I know
Yeah.
you be eating well. Ezekiel Jackson, what is your Waffle House order?
My Waffle House order, dang, it's been, last time I lived in Georgia, it was 2012, so I can't remember. But I know it had to be two waffles. There had to be eggs, whatever that combo was. I think it was a waffle combo.
How many eggs are we looking at? Like 24? Because you're a big guy.
Four over hard, hash browns, lots of ketchup.
Ketchup. Ugh.
Lots of ketchup on the hash brown, man. Bacon on the side and sausage.
Okay.
Not much of a ham fan when it comes to breakfast, but I love sausage and bacon. And orange juice.
Ooh. Sounds like something that a man your size would probably consume. Makes sense. Adds up completely. Now, guys, I'm really looking forward to this match. FWE Full Throttle, Cary, North Carolina, Saturday, March 15th. Big Rick, you're getting back into the ring. Ezekiel Jackson, you're returning to the ring. What do you have a message for like the fans that are going to be tuning in, maybe even coming to the show?
Again, you're getting to see a specimen that in person that you would never see. I'm not going to fly like Ricochet. I love Ricochet to death, and that's an amazing talent. They're never going to take anything away from the dudes that do what they can do. But me, I'm coming to beat somebody up and enjoy it. And enjoy it. Like I'm going to be smart. You could punch me. I'm going to enjoy you punching me because guess what? I'm going to hit you back harder. I'm going to hit you back a lot harder than you can hit me. So
terrified. Glad this is on Zoom.
I guess the two cats I'm going to face at FWE. I actually worked out today.
Oh, Jesus Christ! What?
My arms.
What?
I think they're kind of shrunk.
You're too big. Oh,
yeah.
What?
But yeah, I'm coming to beat somebody up and enjoy it.
Jesus Christ! FWE should be scared. Guys, thank you so much for your time, Ezekiel Jackson. Great for you. I'm the #1 Ezekiel Jackson guy. When I heard you were coming back, I was like, oh, baby, let's go.
Again, I appreciate everything you do for this business. I see all the interviews you're doing, and it's real.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? It's not somebody trying to make a name for themselves. And I don't want to say I don't like being approached for certain podcasts and stuff like that, but don't text me and be like, hey, my buddy and I are starting a podcast. Can you come on? We'd like to. Don't, you know what I mean?
Amateur hour.
Like, hey, man, yeah, I don't want to take away from you, but build up to that point where you can be like, hey, look at these that I've done. Go to shows and interview dudes for real. Like, don't just try to be lazy. Go to support the independent shows, man, because these cats are busting their butts out there.
Yes.
Again, that's another thing I'm trying to do is get ready to start back putting all my shows out here. So
there you go.
I might be bringing some of the guys in that want to fight.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it, man. There's so much more we can talk about, but we're gonna save it for hopefully an in-person interview. I gotta show up to one of these matches.
Definitely, man.
Absolutely, guys. My name's Malcolm. This is Muscle Memory, and we're out.
Going up like 1,000. I'm a flex just like a muscle man Malcolm. We going up like 1,000. I'm a flex just like a muscle man Malcolm. When it's just like 1, 2, 3. If you
like the channel, this will squeeze. If you like the channel, this will squeeze. If you like the channel, this will squeeze.